Okay, so I'm supposed to talk about why the Obamacare is good. Well, first of all, Obamacare offers healthcare to basically and virtually everyone, and it does this by lowering the required, the required income to apply for Medicaid, and it also does this through fining you if you don't have insurance. So basically, what it's doing is it's coaxing you into getting the insurance by fining you, saying we're gonna fine you if you don't get your insurance, so you better get it. So basically, it's allowing everyone to have coverage. And another reason why it's good is because if you are a business owner and you're employing over 50 people, you have to have insurance for 95% of those people if they're full-time employees. And while this might not seem good for the business owner, it is good for the employees because the employees get the coverage that they need. And basically, that's the whole reason why it's good. It's good because it offers coverage for everyone, and it requires basically everyone to have it. Okay, so Obamacare is good, but it's also bad. Obamacare is bad because the cost to start it up and the cost to maintain it would be really high for the government. Because think about it, you have to insure all of these people, and the amount of money that's going to go into that, and insuring all those people, and making sure that those people who qualify for Medicaid, you're gonna have to put a lot of money into that because they're not going to be able to pay those medical bills, and if they have to go to the hospital, that's going to leave the government paying for the medical bills that they have that they can't afford. And yeah, so it's going to cost a lot of money. And another reason why it's bad is for business owners. Business owners, if you employ over 50 people, you have to have insurance for 95% of those people if they're full-time. And the reason why that's bad is because that means before, you could offer your healthcare plan, and if they didn't want it, they didn't have to have it. But now it requires them to have it. And another reason why it's bad is if you make over 200,000, or if you and your spouse combined make over 250,000 and you don't have the health insurance, you get fined more than somebody else who makes less than the 250,000 or 200,000, depending on if you're a couple or not. Okay, so while there are good points and some bad points to Obamacare and just healthcare in general, there are some things that I would definitely change to it. Okay, first of all, what I would do is I would make the income that you have to have for the Medicaid. I would actually I would lower the percentage, because right now I think it's 138%. If you make 138% or less, you qualify for Medicaid. So I would actually lower that percentage because that's going to cost the government a lot of money as far as insuring all those people who wouldn't be able to actually afford it in the first place. Another thing I would do, I would increase the fine if you don't have insurance for the 9 out of the 12 months of the year, because what you have there is you'll have people who think that the fine isn't that much, so they're just not going to do it, and they're just going to pay the fine instead of having the health insurance because they only go to the doctor once or twice a year anyway. So what's the point in paying these monthly rates if it's going to end up costing more than what your actual doctor visits or doctor checkups would be? So you make the fine, a greater percentage of what they earn, and it's basically what it's gonna do is it's gonna force them to either get health care or pay what you would have with the health care payments as a penalty. So make it to where basically it's not worth it to not have the insurance. And then another thing I would do is I would make it to where it's not more of a fine if you earn more money. I would just make it a flat fine all across the board. So let's say, for instance, it's a 2.5% right now. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but it's at 2.5% right now. Raise it up to 5% for everyone, as opposed to it being 2.5 for people who make less than the $250,000 if you're a couple, and more than that if you're are those people who make $200 or $250,000 if you're married.